All right, so spawning down here, up here on the top left-hand side of Frost LE, our starting map for this series, we have the orange Protoss player. We have Fire, and I think it's actually Warren. I don't know why he's named Fire, whether it was a name change or what the deal was.
I told you before we started the replay that he used his first name in the replay file, so apparently they do that. That's what Foss told me.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
But anyway, our Zerg purple piece is here on the bottom right. Atlas, Fire's opponent.
So we do see the first pylon going down for Fire. I'm going to assume this is going to be just a normal FFE. Very safe, very standard.
You know what they say about assumptions?
It makes an ass out of you.
No, you. And me, I guess.
And me. Yeah, that's true. I guess I shouldn't assume, but I guess just looking at the placement, that's what I would guess. Gateway expands can be very, very handy, but you have to make sure your opponent's expanding as well.
Yeah. You know, obviously, if you go for the Forge expand, you have that ability to drop a cannon down in the natural of your Zerg buddy. And if you really want to go balls deep, you could even do it in the third. And it looks like eventually Atlas is going to be able to spot his opponent. And yeah, there goes the Forge, so you were right. I guess assumptions can be made.
And you know what? I really wasn't even saying that with confidence because I mean, we've seen plenty of times in a lot of these games, there are a lot of players who like to go for the gateway first. So, I mean, those changes can be made, but I don't know. I personally like to play the very safe style of going for that Forge first. I don't like having that vulnerability of no cannon down.
Yeah. And there goes that spawning pool.
And actually, as we saw earlier in that game that I showed you in Zero, it was probably a good idea that I threw that cannon down.
Yeah. Looks like Fire is going to be heading back to the natural here. We will see if... actually, not heading back there, just wants to continue checking the gas timings of Atlas here as opposed to dropping down a pylon in the natural.
Yeah, and we do see that natural from Fire going down. Still no cannon, but at this point, based on his scouting information, I can again assume that he feels very, very safe. That pool, he hasn't seen it finish yet, so I mean, no threat of lings, no threat of anything on the way, and the expansion is just about done. So again, you could kind of probably figure that he's going to start pushing drones.
Yeah, that, and he doesn't see any gas down, so no need to worry about speed or any sort of roach rushes happening. So I definitely feel like this expansion back here is going to be pretty safe for Fire.
And look at this from Atlas. We actually have a third hatchery coming down before any gas.
That greedy.
Now, who do we attribute this to now? Is this Stefano or is this?
I was actually watching. I was watching J Dong play last night on Twitch, and he did stuff similar to this. You know, doing the clicking greedy expansions.
Mm-hmm.
Now it almost seems like when I watch J Dong stream, he loses like 90% of the games. I think I'm jinxing him or something, but
you might be.
For such a good player, yeah. I wonder if they don't really care about losing ladder games so much.
Oh, but look at this. We do have the Lings coming across the map now. They are going to come up right here and scout everything that is going on. There still is no cannon down. That Zealot is not even close to being done. This might cause some problems. Now, a few of them are going to get OCD'd over here onto this drone. Or the probe, excuse me.
And, the first two Zealots, or Zerglings, are here at the natural, going to see what's going on here. Notice there's a Cyber Forge gateway, and the Zealot actually does finish in time.
Yeah, that was a nice timing. Now, had those Lings come through just a few seconds earlier, we wouldn't have seen that happen. That block just wouldn't have been.
We also have a Stargate on the way here, at the back of the main here at Fire's base. The one gate, Stargate, is going for that warp gate. Hasn't tacked down any more gateways. So I wonder if we're just going to see another Oracle push.
I don't know, but this Overlord looks like it's going to come just in here to the corner of the base of Fire. I don't think he's going to make any moves towards the back.
Yeah, it's stopped right there, and unless Atlas moves it a bit more, it's not going to see that Stargate, which is now just about finished. And let's keep an eye on what starts to come out of there. Is it going to be Phoenixes? And yes, it is.
So now this becomes a really interesting play because you use those Phoenixes obviously for map control. And if we look at the Overlord spread of Atlas, it's really, I mean, like, he's kind of getting there, but at least at the moment it's not that great.
But, you also have to consider that this is a big map, and it's going to take a lot of Overlords to get a good spread around it. Like you were saying, he's got a few here and there, keeping an eye on things, but he could use more. But this Phoenix is definitely going to start to take away from that.
Yeah, and he actually does go ahead and scout that Phoenix with the Overlord. They were actually within eyesight of each other for a very short time there, and then the Overlord started to move. Now, the Overlord's going to try and come in here and see exactly how many Stargates are going on, and he doesn't get the scout off. There are 2 Phoenixes out on the board now for Fire.
Looks like we have Scipio the Great here in the chat. How's it going there, Brian? Nice to have you join us today.
And in response to those Phoenixes, we see Spore Crawlers going up all over the place for Atlas. 2 per base, looking like it's going to come up. Very, very standard stuff to make sure you're pretty safe from all of that Phoenix harass.
Yeah, we've seen in the past in the DKTL, Phoenix get used quite well. When you forget about those Spore Crawlers and you don't have Hydras out or, several Queens, you're in for a bad time just because Phoenixes, not only can they get a ton of map control, but can definitely be used for some good harassment and pick away at your workers.
Yeah, now that Overlord did see the robotics bay down here in the back. We go ahead and look. He does see something warping in. He may be under the assumption that that's a robo bay. It might be something else. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't quite see it. He saw the warping in building, but one could figure that was what was on his mind. Now we do see continued Phoenix production out of Fire. An Immortal out on the field now, another one on the way. And what do we have out of our Zerg player, freaks?
What do we have here? Well, he's making a ton of drones right now and going for melee attacks level 1, so it looks like he hasn't really decided on a tech path just yet. Unless, there goes missile attacks level 1, so it looks like, he's dropping the Hydra Den, and I think that's a proper response.
Yeah, I mean, especially after seeing those Phoenixes, as we've seen in a lot of games in a variety of arenas, Hydras come out in response to that Stargate. Now, whether you continue down that Stargate path or not, the Hydras are still there, and Hydras are still a great unit because of the EPS that they put out.
We're going to see the Queen here maybe get picked off, but these Spore Crawlers are doing a lot of damage, and they're actually going to take care of that. Ooh, and I don't think they're going to get it. No. Oh, they do just in time.
Oh, so we're down
to lose 2 Phoenixes.
Yeah, we're down to 2 Phoenixes now. That's definitely cutting into that count. But if you look at the money of our Protoss player, he's skyrocketing in the minerals category.
Yeah. And as you were saying that, generally you would build Hydralisk as a counter to the Phoenixes and such. I think Fire does have that in mind, and that's why he chose to go down the Robo Bay tech path so quickly. And I think, unless we see a lot of Roaches and perhaps even Vipers down the road, that these Hydras just, if we see a big engagement here with Colossus involved, it's going to be pretty tough. For the Zerg player.
Yeah,
extended thermal lance there, just getting done.
And actually, what this reminds me of, at least in the very beginning stages is the early stages of the meta of StarCraft 2, where you saw a lot of people go with a lot of ground zealots specifically, and you see Colossi being pumped and Phoenixes for support.
So we have a Skeet 70 Murph is in the chat, and from Fallen Demise, just a quick comment here. Watching VODs of myself is so painful I have to turn this off. People talking like I know what the fuck I'm doing. We try to assume people have a game plan, and we try to read into what's going on, but if you have no idea what you're doing, then, I suppose we can make it sound like you do.
We do have a Spire coming out of Atlas, and the army from Fire is going to push out across the map. Now, this is actually a pretty nice split by Atlas, and surround.
This is some great force fields there, but we don't have the Zealots to keep everything back, and I assume that's what this force fields are for instead. But are these Hydras going to be able to pick off the Colossus here? Ooh, great force fields there. Splitting up this entire army. Oh, no. Keeping those Hydras back.
Oh, my God. That was some excellent force field work, splitting that army in half. That is exactly what you want to do as a Protoss player.
That was very well done by Fire. A great engagement there, not losing any of the Colossus, losing a few Stalkers and Zealots there, but really a pretty good engagement overall. Also going with that Warp Prism.
Yeah, we do have the Warp Prism coming out. Now we also do have Muscular Augments and 7 more Hydralisks coming out on the field.
Forcing the 24 Lings in production right now, and we also see that the sentries are low on energy, so the Lings might be able to do a whole lot of damage here as soon as they pop. And it looks like here they are on the On the way now.
Oh, going to pick off one Stalker. The pylon does go down, but it looks like it's going to get systematically taken out here.
Despite the Colossus here, I mean, these Hydras have a great surround, and they might even be able to pick off the Colossus before they can get back home, killing everything else.
Yeah, that was not a great exchange for Fire. He definitely overextended, and he's now in a really rough spot. We do have 24 Lings coming out now, an Overseer and level 2 missile attacks, and 2 Stalkers warping him back home.
He's actually pulling back. Oh, not quite. He's still got the Warp Prism headed over here to the main base of our Zerg player, but this is a lot of Hydralisks here at the front door. And it's got one Colossus that will be able to keep him at bay for a little while, but still, I mean, this is a lot of DPS we're going to be seeing here.
Oh, and attacking his own gateway.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
He actually sniped his own forge.
No, that was the Zerg.
Oh, okay.
He was attacking his own gateway, but the Zerg did its number.
And the Colossus gets brought down, and really, he's got one more in production. We also see the reinforcement, 36 Lings on the way right now. I really think that this is over. Fire, just like you said, extended a little bit too far and lost his entire force.
Yeah,
but meanwhile, ooh, the Zealot Warp into the main for Atlas. Doing quite a bit of damage there, but it's going to get cleaned up. Meanwhile, Fire just losing everything here at home.
Yeah, this is a pretty tough position to be in, and it all started because Fire decided he wanted to overextend. I would have liked to have seen him wait for 1 or 2 more warpins before he started that push, knowing especially that the Zerg was on 3 bases.
The reinforcement Zealots, just getting completely annihilated. DG. So Atlas taking game 1 in this series.
Wow.
That was definitely unexpected. I did not expect Fire to extend so far and lose everything and subsequently just completely get dominated.
Yeah, that was one of those mistakes that you make, I think, 1 or 2 times usually before you learn in a series.
Yeah, you don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
Well, he had those high priority units there, but he didn't have enough to back them up in any sort of big engagement. Like we saw, the sentries were out of energy, couldn't throw down any force fields. So anyway, let's hop into game 2 here. Yeah, as Skeet70 says in the chat, that was quite the turnaround. So yeah, you make one little mistake in StarCraft and the whole game can fall apart for you. That can be a good or a bad thing. It depends who you ask. I feel like ZVZ is really volatile like that. One little misclick and the game's over.
Yeah.
Skeet70, like Denver on that big pass into a fumble. Oh wait, that was all of them.
I think the one you're looking for specifically is the snap into safety.
In the beginning?
In the very beginning. That was not the way you want to start that.
Apparently, somebody, before the Super Bowl happened, somebody on Reddit asked, what's the craziest bet they could make on the Super Bowl? And somebody said, safety first point. And afterwards, everyone was like, holy shit, man, you were right.
Yeah, it's too late in the game for those rookie mistakes. That is definitely for sure.
Alrighty here. So are we ready to get going, guys?
I am.
Yep, all set.
Alright, so give us the countdown, Zero.
Alright.
Wait.
Starting her up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Alrighty here. On the top left of Star Station Tournament Edition, we have our Orange Protoss player, Fire. Surprisingly losing that last game in a quick turn of events.
And his opponent spawning down here on the bottom right-hand side of the map as the purple Zergy pieces. We do have Atlas.
The GLFH. So, I almost think that Fire might just go with something similar, because I really don't think we should have lost that game.
No, I actually think the inherent flaw in that build was just, as we have said multiple times, there was no meat shield really to soak anything up.
Yeah.
There were no zealots in that composition. It was all stalkers, immortals. I mean, it was very, very, not necessarily completely high-tech units, but there were a lot of units in there that did not, like, they don't stand well on their own. They actually need that zealot shield in front of them to do everything effectively.
And as we were saying as well, you know, he did a whole lot of damage and completely dominated that first engagement, but definitely that overextension is not something he wants to happen again. So we will see how he decides to adjust.
Yeah, we do see the probe from Fire down here in the natural, going to try and block that expansion, and he then realizes the expansion isn't coming and then goes up into the main again for more scouting. Does see that the spawning pool is down, but nothing crazy yet.
So what I would like to see, actually it looks like he's not even going to go for the Forge just yet. Fire might just be saving up for that Nexus.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going for the 18 food expand, something that very, very risky, but when it works perfectly, you're in ahead by leaps and bounds. Just because you don't have to spend that extra money on the buildings.
And both of these players grabbing their expansions at near the exact same time.
Yeah.
Now, I still would really like to see some cannon harassment at the natural, you know, throwing your Zerg opponent off early on in the game and seeing if you can't just solidify a lead from then on.
Yeah, that would definitely be something that would be nice to see. And, I mean, the only thing that really makes it hard here is, okay, if you don't cannon the natural, where do you cannon? I mean, if you know your opponent early expands to his third, which we do see a drone coming out here to do that right now. I mean, you leave this very, very vulnerable at the third for attacks from the high ground, which obviously, I mean, like, if your opponent's just getting lings out, he has to come down to you. But say you decide to do that later, your opponent's got roaches, hydras, things that can shoot down over that ledge and take out your cannon in great number. It makes it really not worth it. Now, the Forge and the Gateway are going down. We're going to have to see if he actually decides to throw down a cannon this time.
You know, I don't know. We do see a few lings here on the way. No Zealot even being seen right now, because that Gateway, of course, is not done yet. And he does throw that Photon Cannon down, and it might be done in time if these lings are just going to chill here for a little while. And Atlas, with that Overlord, getting a complete scout, seeing everything that's going on here. I think he's pretty confident with that third base.
Yeah, I mean, in this position as the Zerg player, you feel really comfortable to just go ahead and take that third because your opponent's not going to move out anytime soon. It's kind of the alter position that we were talking about last game, where it's, you know, really safe to take that Naturals Protoss. Well, this is where the Zerg player gets that reciprocal feeling of, well, you're not going to move out anytime soon. You have no units. Your units are slower to build than mine are.
Yeah.
So I can give an appropriate response if I have to.
Just looking at this wall right now just reminds me of a game I was playing last night, actually, with Aurelius and Adam watching, and I was playing Protoss against Zerg, and I went to fast expand, and, you know, not being a Protoss player, I completely fucked up the wall, and I couldn't actually place my Nexus because the buildings were in the way. This was on Polar Night.
You know, ironically enough, that used to happen on the really old maps quite a lot, and it was actually just because of base design.
Yeah.
They would actually make it so that the choke point was a little bit farther back, so you had to, like, basically squeak that pylon in right next to your Nexus, or place the Nexus first, and then build out from there. I can remember Antigua Shipyard more than once. I did that in my SimCity.
Antigua Shipyard.
It's such a great map. I miss it.
We also have the Twilight Council on the way here, as well as Warp Gate.
So maybe this time a change up to some sort of blink play. I mean, we still have yet to see a Mothership Core, and as I say it, there it comes out. But I mean, that might be the play.
Yeah, blink would definitely be effective here, especially, you know, blink really comes down to your personal micro abilities. So if you've played it before and you're familiar with it, then you might be able to make it work here. Also getting ground weapons level 1. So do you think that we will see some sort of timing?
You know what? I think it's going to be... I think it will be a blink timing, because we see 2 more gateways coming down now. Now the Overlord is going to see it. Oh, 4 gateways. Oh, no.
Doesn't quite get that next gateway there, and after losing that Overlord, Atlas is supply blocked temporarily.
You know, I like that play out of Fire, not throwing down that 4th gateway at the site of that Overlord, because now you give your opponent a little bit of mystery as to what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know the Twilight is down, so you know that it's either going to be Blink or Dark Templar. So, I mean, you've pretty well focused him down that tech path. Now you just kind of hope that he makes the wrong choice.
No, there is Blink on the way, as well as ground weapons level 2. And of course, those 2 extra gateways that are also being thrown down. So right now we're up to 3 gates. I'd like to see a few more if he's actually going to make a big push out of this. But
Yeah.
perhaps we're not actually going to see something like that. But it waits to be seen at this point.
Well, and I mean, it may be something that's a little bit delayed. Now, obviously, we do have level 1 melee attacks coming out of Atlas and 28 more Lings in production. So he does suspect something. Lair is just now getting done, so it may be possible that he saw that and is expecting DTs.
Yeah, like you were saying, he also dropped those spine crawlers as soon as he saw that Twilight Council.
And we have a Spore down at the front as well.
And also, he looks like to be going for Hydralisk at this point. I actually don't see any Roachborn anywhere. It doesn't look like he has a Roachborn. So maybe he's just going to go for the Ling Hydra that we saw last time. And a little big Ling run by here, going to deny this 3rd base. That is not good for Fire at all.
No, not at all.
Especially when Atlas has been on 3 bases for nearly this entire game right now.
Yes, I did.
That 4th gateway for Fire is complete, not transformed into a warp gate. Ah, there it goes. And he's got a lot of money right now, so he's going to place that 3rd base again, most likely. But I would like to see a lot of gateways go down here. He's got so much money right now, there's no reason he shouldn't be spending it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, he might...
And there they go.
I was going to say, he might be saving up to... Oh my god, we have 4 more gateways coming down. I was going to say, he might be just saving up for, like, the mass warping of units.
Yeah.
And we do see some Zealots actually in the mix this time. That 1 Zealot on hold position with a nice hold position.
So we're up to 8 gateways right now. I would like to see a proxy pylon go down at some point, because I think it's pretty obvious right now that Fire does want to use this Blink and go for a big push of some sort. But we also have the Overseer from Atlas here is going to see everything that's going on here. Going to see all of those warp gates in production. So the question is, how does he react to this?
You know what? It may just be a matter of Fire saying, well, yeah, you saw it, but I'm just going to out-macro you.
Yeah.
Or out-produce you. Now,
And at this
obviously, if
point-
you look at the supply, it's probably not going to happen very easily. But
Yeah.
that might be what's going through his mind is like, yeah, you may have seen it, but now try and stop me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Atlas has been on 3 bases, like I said earlier, for nearly this entire game, and actually just starting missile attacks level 1, while ground weapons level 3 for the Protoss player is on the way. Oh, so many more gateways going down here at the 3rd, making a sort of pseudo wall there. I mean, that's a lot of gates for 3 bases. We are now up to 13 gateways.
You know what? I like that a lot, though, because even if he can't use them, he's got them there. It may not be a matter of I can use them right now, but I can use these later in the game. So I actually think that's a really good foresight on his part.
He's also dropping that Robo Bay as well. So eventually going to throw some Colossus into the mix. And we do see the move out from Atlas.
Uh-oh.
A lot
That's
of Zealots
actually
being left in.
Yeah, that's kind of a scary force, and he doesn't have charge at the moment, so these are actually... Oh, God. Oh, no.
+3 is not quite done for Fire.
And the overcharge does go down.
You know, he really needs to get those Zealots out to the front there. They're not going to do any good behind those Stalkers. And Atlas just completely bypasses that army there and starts to go for the natural. And there, the Zealots are now in the front and will be able to start doing some damage to those Zerglings. A huge warping of Stalkers to reinforce this, as well as +3 is actually not finished. He sniped the force before it got done. But regardless, this is going to be enough to push back Atlas.
Yeah, that was a really good defense by Fire. Now, the army is a little bit split up here, and he is a little bit overextended again.
Meanwhile, Atlas also did drop that 4th base behind this push.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Atlas, like we talked about last game. Expanding as your opponent is, or well, you're dealing with your opponent at the front.
Yeah. Extended Thermal Lance is now in production. I just can't believe there are so many gateways here. It looks like we're going to see another push here at 3rd. I don't think so. Hydras do a lot of DPS, but they're far behind on upgrades right now. Actually, I guess they're not that far behind, considering that Forge did get sniped, and so everything here is just at +2 attack. But we also see flyer attacks level 1 on the way right now. Doesn't seem like any transition has actually happened just yet, but the 5th base and the 4th base here are just getting completed. So are we going to see, some Broodlords or Vipers?
You know what? That's what I was just thinking, and I was actually thinking probably more so Broodlords.
Yeah.
If you can't crack it with this push. Now, obviously, the lane's getting a huge surround, taking out the Zealots. The Stalkers blinking back. Not going to be any chance. We see another big warp in his Stalkers.
So many Stalkers. The one thing that concerns me about Broodlords is if he doesn't have an absolute ton of them, then we are going to see some pretty good blink play out of Fire to snipe them. But at the same time, you have a lot of DPS here from these Hydras, so that may sort of protect those Broodlords and keep the Stalkers away. Though I definitely feel like Broodlords are a good choice, if that is what we see.
Yeah, I would really like to see that. Now we do see level 1 ground carapace, more Lings coming out, level 2 missile attacks, charge is on the way, and of the 2 robos, only 1 is producing. Now again, the army caught out of position.
Yeah, and I think this is going to end up horribly for Atlas. He's going to lose everything here. Definitely not the best choice there to push into the natural. And yeah, I mean, Lings are swarming in here, but they're just getting annihilated.
Yeah, and those Colossus just working away. If we actually look at the kills on the Colossus, there's 7 on one and 10 on the other. That army from Atlas getting completely obliterated in that push.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a counterattack here from Fire. He has won 2 engagements pretty single-handedly. I mean, that was a pretty convincing victory in those two pushes from Atlas there that just completely failed. So I do think we're going to see this 4th base here probably fall. If he just decides to go straight for the 3rd.
And actually, we have an Overseer trying to come around the edge of the map to see what's going on. The push coming up the front. 27 Hydras just popped out.
That's a lot of Hydralisks getting a complete surround on these Stalkers now.
You know what? I don't think it's going to matter, though. These Stalkers well placed to soak up a lot of that damage.
The Colossus dies. He loses the Colossus. That was pretty careless there by Fire. That Colossus should not have died.
Yeah, and we do see another reinforcement wave coming out from Fire. Now, he does need to... he probably should throw down a pylon here soon. Now, we do have Corruptors coming out as well.
10 Corruptors to deal with those Colossi, and I think that's not going to be a problem at all. They do additional damage to Massive, so that's pretty much a direct counter. And then eventually, after they're used for stuff like that, we might see the Broodlords later on.
Maybe so. Now, we do have level 2 melee attacks on the way. 12 more Hydras in production.
We don't actually see Hive Tech yet out of Atlas, so...
But we do have a 4th out of Fire that is now up.
Yeah, nothing really harvesting from there yet, but obviously Atlas doesn't know that it's there due to that Overseer, which is going to get picked off here, maybe. It lives, surprisingly.
And the Corruptors are out for Atlas now, and we see kind of the dance starting to begin. Now, Fire is going to have to protect these Colossus.
I don't know, those Corruptors actually are a little bit more out of position than I thought. But we might see them used here shortly. We're going to see an engagement here. Lings and Hydras is going to get evaporated, but are these Corruptors going to get to the back here?
Some really nice positioning by Atlas.
Ooh, is he going to get those? Got to get those Corruptors in there to start taking away. One Colossus falls, the second Colossus falls, but these Hydras are just really getting torn apart. And the 3rd Colossus dies, and
one miss rallied on a move command, but there's a lot of Stalkers here.
That is so many Stalkers. So I almost think that losing this Colossus is not even a big deal for Fire right now. This is a huge push. The Definitely got to get that blink micro in to get out of those broodlings.
And we do have the reinforcement pylon down here for fire.
I'm really interested to see how exactly is Atlas going to hold this up. He's got 8 Hydras in production. I don't think that is even going to be enough here to add to this army. To just stop this push from fire. It's just so powerful right now. He's got a 3 attack on the way. Atlas is actually at 1-2, so just barely ahead on those upgrades.
And actually, we see 15 more Hydras in production to try and replace this, and I don't think that's going to be enough. These Corruptors are back.
And the Blink Micro there, keeping a lot of these Stalkers alive. All of those Lings die, and the rest of these Hydras are going to get picked off very short.
Where's the GG?
So Fire tying the series up so far. Well done. Say, who needs tier 3 units when you got Blink Stalkers with upgrades? I did like Atlas with that Corruptor play. That was very nice, just completely destroying all of those Corruptors. But really, just was not enough.
Yeah, there were
Stalkers.
Yeah, there were a lot of Stalkers there, and that was really tough to deal with. I do think Atlas handled it well.
I think we should have seen the Ultralist transition.
That would have been kind of brutal.
You know, he was up to 5 bases there for a little while. Probably was just low on money because he was spending everything on Hydras and Lings just to keep fire at bay. So anyway, let's boot up game 3. And Foss, of course, Destiny vs. Puck is on, and I was actually excited to see that as well. But we've got more important stuff to do. Obviously, the DKTL takes priority over things like that. Oh, also, if you plan on staying up tonight, GSL is on once again.
So that means you're planning on staying up tonight? Is that what I'm hearing?
Most likely. Well, why are you calling me a slacker? I'm just trying to stay up to date on my StarCraft, man. I'm getting educated.
But you have school tomorrow. That's why.
I have StarCraft tonight. It works the same way.
Not particularly. You're paying more money to go to school than watch StarCraft.
I could actually sub to GSL, and that would be equivalent.
Yeah, that it would.
It's pretty damn expensive.
Yeah, it is. That's very true.
Anyway, are we in the replays, Hero?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right.
Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. So spawning up here on the top side of Polar Knight LE in this now best of 3 series, we have our purple Zerg player Atlas.
And on the bottom of Polar Knight, in the orange trunks here, we have Fire, who took away game 2 with a shitload of Blink Stalkers.
That's right. We're going to have to see if he actually goes for that again. I like that play a lot, actually.
It's really fun to watch Blink Micro. It's almost on par with awesome force fields, I think. Anything that involves a lot of micro to just dominate engagements like that is really, really fun to watch. And there's also something to be said for the Corruptor positioning that we saw from Atlas. That was also pretty cool. He handled the tier 3 units, but just could not handle the Stalker pressure. And we'll see if he actually throws some roaches into his composition instead of so many Lings. What do you think about that? I almost think that Roach Hydra would be a better response to that as opposed to Roach a Ling, especially when Blink Stalkers are involved.
Yeah, I almost feel like roaches are a necessity. Now, you can continue to throw Lings, but until they're 3/3 Lings with the Crackling upgrade, I don't think it's necessarily worth it to go down that route.
Yeah,
roaches are a little bit beefier. You're going to get more for your money. It's going to be all around a better time.
Is Fire going to block this expansion here? Takes a hit or two. It's going to be pretty annoying there. And this is actually the first time we've seen him do some expansion blocking. I want to see him drop a pylon. Come on, where's the pylon? Where's the pylon? Don't lose the probe. Don't lose the probe. One more hit.
Oh, so now he loses the probe, but actually his expansion is not going to be that far behind his opponents.
Yeah.
As we do see his go down right about now.
Yeah. Has that 400 minerals. opted not to go for that forge first. And this is the map I was talking about, where you see how far that the Nexus extends into the actual choke there. I blocked myself off, just barely. Pretty embarrassing when you have to use your cannons to kill a gateway so you can fit your Nexus.
See, now that's why I like using the south side of this choke point to start my wall, because in that way I don't ever have that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Now the expansion for Atlas is about halfway done. His opponent's is also about halfway done, and we do see a forge coming down now.
You know, I'm wondering if we're going to see that third base out of Atlas that we saw in the past couple games. It looks like, yeah, he has a drone heading out here, and it looks like he is going to place that third base, just as we saw in that last game.
So again, we talk about comfort levels and players. Both these players are very, very comfortable with their builds, as we've seen now, for this will be the third game.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much identical things coming out of Atlas, so he's definitely just going to try to make something work in the macro game. Not so much going to try and, two-base his opponent, but probably switch something up in the composition, at least that's what I expect.
Well, and see, now it kind of comes back to what we were talking about earlier. You may see what your opponent's doing, but I kind of feel like Atlas's attitude towards it is, you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to give away exactly what I'm doing, but
mind games,
well, no, not necessarily even mind games, but like I'm gonna do this every time. It's coming.
He scouts by letting his opponent scout him.
There you go. Now are you gonna let me finish?
Indeed.
Okay, but I mean, like he lets your opponent see exactly what's going on in the first two games and just says, "That's fine. I'm just gonna out macro you." Because in game one, that's what we saw. In game two, I have a feeling, if that would have kept up, we would have seen it. But
yeah, I almost wonder if that's even worth it. I think if you're 100% positive that you've got better macro than your opponent, then yeah, you can make something like that work. But, in general, I think giving away what your game plan is probably not the best idea. Though, if you've got the confidence and you've played a few games and you know that your macro is superior to that of your opponent, then why not,
Yeah. Obviously, it has the tendency to backfire, as does anything, but I mean, if you have confidence in what you're doing, and you know for fact that, you're comfortable with this build, you know exactly how everything will work out, you have everything kind of timed out, you can get away with stuff like that.
I really would like to see somebody pull the whole Combat X, though, and then claim that I scout by letting my opponent scout me.
Oh my god, look at this.
3 Stargates. 3 Stargates.
On 2 bays. Did he see my ladder game from earlier?
What are we going to see here? Are we going to see the Fleet Beacon? Are we going to see the Void Rays? Maybe a boatload of Oracles? I don't know. This is really interesting.
I'm going to call it Void Rays. Right now, I will call this Void Rays.
Void Rays, huh?
Skill Rays.
I think the first unit is going to be Phoenix.
And they do get scouted.
Oh, so the Overlord does 3. See all 3 of those Stargates there, as you were saying. And the Stalker a little bit too late to the party. Now let's see what starts. Let's see what is going to be produced out of these Stargates. He's got gas for something, and we're waiting.
I'm calling Void Rays.
He's got him selected. What are we going to see? Oh, Oracles! 3 Oracles. You were wrong, and also I was wrong.
That's an insane play.
Meanwhile, I mean, Atlas is reacting appropriately, though. He saw those targets. He dropped Spore Crawlers at every base. Though, I mean, I think this is still going to be able to do a lot of damage, despite the Spore Crawlers, just as long as he targets, or focuses targets, instead of just A-clicking. Then he might have some problems. But really, he could throw a Void Ray in there to deal with Spore Crawlers, since in Dramatic Alignment, they can really tear through Spore Crawlers.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe his goal for this game is just to go mass Oracle, and if that's the case, more power to you, sir, because Oracles are amazing.
That's Sky
Oh my god, we have it. 3 of them on the way.
As well as Protoss Air Weapons level 1, so... actually, do we Okay, so the pulsar beam is toggled, and I'm assuming it is affected by weapons, despite it being a spell.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but
Oh yeah, if you go ahead and look at the actual oracle itself, it does say that the weapon is disabled. So maybe it actually isn't a spell, and it's just a weapon that you can actually toggle. So wow, I mean, bringing the total oracle count up to 5 right now with another one on the way. This is just going to be absolutely brutal.
are we gonna see more?
You know what? If this works out for him, we just might see more. I mean, 6 oracles is going to do a lot of damage here. I think even with these spore crawlers, use all of the oracles to focus down spore crawlers, and you really won't have an issue. He's got 6 of them right now, and especially with a +1 air weapon, it's just about finished. I really don't think the spores are going to do a whole lot of damage.
Now, we do have Hydralisks out on the field for Atlas, so I mean, this also has the potential to go very, very poorly. Now, we do see these oracles moving out from fire.
Now, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I mean, when's the last time you saw so many oracles? Usually it's just 1 or 2 for harassment earlier in the game. But, I mean, this is essentially a fleet of oracles right now. Also, Hydra speed being researched here that will help the Hydras get where they need to go, especially when you've got oracles all over your base here. But, ooh, looks like they are going to get... Are they going to get scouted? No, they're not. He just completely dodges that Overlord. Very well done. Wow, he actually perfectly dodged that Overlord. It's a little interesting.
And here we go. We have all 6 of them in the base. They do take out 1 Spore Crawler.
And 1 Oracle falls. There are only 5 remaining, but is he going to actually... Oh, the Hydras are arriving.
Uh-oh.
It's going to completely push these Oracles back.
So just about loses another one, but he does manage to escape.
So far...
And there we get Void Rays into the mix, finally.
Yeah, that is definitely what he needs, especially for the Spore Crawlers. I'm not going to do so hotly against the Hydras, but really, if he's going to do some harassment, we'll throw the Void Rays in there, take care of the Spore Crawlers, and then just mop everything else up with the Oracles.
Yeah, and we do see some more Spore Crawlers on the way for Atlas. Good response, and the army is moving out across the map.
Lots of things.
There's not that much here to deal with the Hydras. I mean, obviously the Oracles can continue to deal with the Lings, but I mean, like, there's really not that much to soak up the damage from these Hydralisks. And
no! 1, 2 get sniped, and 3, 4, and oh my gosh, he almost lost every single Oracle there. Time Warp going down on the Hydras, because all the Oracles are dead. He's going to use some Zealots here to try to take these Hydras on, but I mean, Hydras, as we've said before, just do so much DPS, it's really going to clean everything up. He doesn't even give a shit about the Planetary Nexus.
Yeah, we do see the Void Rays coming in to try and help out in this battle, but the Hydralisk reinforcement coming across the map, meeting up with the main army. Now we do have 38 Lings in production, or 38 that will be out on the map, meeting up with this army as well.
Infestation Pit also going down for Atlas, so he is probably going to be transitioning into the Hive Tech here, and probably has something else up his sleeve as well. Twilight Council also getting thrown down by fire. I wonder if he's going to go for some DTs.
You know, that wouldn't surprise me at all, because, oh no, but the Hydra push coming in.
There are so many Hydralisks here right now. This is just going to be insane DPS. The prismatic alignment, not going to really do a whole lot to these Hydralisks. But, you really want to try to micro those Void Rays, I guess, and the skill range. Just push that E button, why not? But really, the Hydra's just going to tear everything apart here. And I don't think there's anything yet. He just quits right out.
Fire with the not so GG.
The no GG, no skill.
So I need to go grab some water.
That's absolutely
in between
fine.
games, and I will load into game number 4 here before I take off.
No GG, no skill.
That's right.
And I said Drew, quit saying that shit. If you do it, you're retarded.
Pretty much. That guy's cheesy. Come on, StarCraft. Come on, StarCraft. Come on, you can do it.
Also, get into game 4 as soon as I can here. It seems to be taking a while to load up the login screen. Here we go. Alright, here.
Alright,
We're
so...
free to go have some water.
Alright, I will be right back.
How about you, Zero? You need a break? You go get some of your grandfather's working?
I think that's what I'm gonna do, yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm gonna load this up here, and then I'm gonna be sneaky.
Sounds good.
Except not so sneaky because there's nobody home. So
All right. It's always nice to have the house to yourself,
it is. It is.
especially when you're doing some casting
Mm-hmm.
and have no interruptions there.
Yeah, there's a lot of that around here.
How about one of the biggest things that I really enjoy about not living at home anymore? Just all the free time and personal space you get.
Yep. Yep. All right, cool.
Alrighty.
I'm gonna be
Go ahead
right
and grab
back.
that, Ruth.
Yep.
So how's our chat doing tonight? Are you guys good? I mean, see, we've got some of you are still around here though. We've actually dropped off on chat activity over that past game. What's going on, guys? Come on. We can't be that boring. Or maybe we are. I'm not watching myself, so I don't really know. Yeah. Oh. So many notifications on Facebook. Nation 92 is absolutely upset that he cannot join us tonight because of his accounting exam. You know what I say? I say fuck school, just watch StarCraft. And that's probably why I'm failing right now. Scipio telling me I'm boring. I hate you. I hate you. Not much out of Forever Bronze. Not boring, just multitasking. Are you also watching, what is it? It's the Ender's Game tournament with Puck and Destiny on right now. I know that Foss is over there doing that. Can anybody report to me what the status of that is? I would like to watch it, but obviously we're a little bit busy right now. Ooh. Scipio, you're okay with skipping class and failing because of StarCraft? Okay, yeah, definitely get on your schoolwork, man. Yeah, that is true. The other night I was up from midnight till 4 in the morning doing homework while watching GSL, so some of us can do both.
Doing homework. I don't believe you.
I was doing homework.
No.
I actually was. I have proof. I can give you the homework that I did.
I still don't believe you. All right.
We're actually not ready to go because Zero is AFK. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Okay, Scipio is cool with me hating him. So, so you're actually not cool with it. So some hostility in the Blake Bryan residence.
How dare you?
Mm-hmm. It's because he's a Protoss player and he hates Terran. So there's nothing I can do about that, man. I'm sorry, your race sucks.
Wow. Hey.
Wow.
Hey. No.
I know. See, Blake doesn't do homework.
I actually do homework. I do homework just when everyone else is in bed. I stealthily do my homework.
And then you complain about being tired.
I don't complain.
You did.
When? When did I
Last year, you complained about being tired all the time.
Oh, last year was a long time ago, buddy.
You guys are
Things done
hilarious.
changed, man.
Are we ready?
I'm in this game. I'm in game 4. I don't know about you guys. I've been here for about 5 minutes.
I'm ready to go.
I am ready whenever you guys are.
All right, counting us down. 5, 4, 3, 2,
You have to say blast off.
1. Blast off.
All right. And spawning on the top right of Derelict Watcher Tournament Edition, we have our Purple Zerg Atlas, who took that game away, and I think Fire might be on tilt because there was no GG. I wonder if he's really angry.
That sounded almost pre-canned, but spawning down here on the bottom left-hand side of our map, we do have our orange Protoss player Fire, who did
He's
did quit out of that last game with no GG after his Oracle.
He's named Fire because he's really hot and angry, right?
That's a terrible joke.
Yeah, it actually was.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. But yeah, after that last game, we did see the Oracle harassment from 6 Oracles. Fire losing completely to basically just Hydra. I mean, like, there were a few lings there, but there was nothing really else.
Dom Pruce, Protoss sucks. Nerf Protoss. That's how it's done, right?
We could ask Dustin Browder. His response would be add destructible rocks.
Yeah, that helps out with the balance, of course. More destructible rocks. And we do see the probe here from Fire is now in the natural of Atlas. Well, he more successfully block that expansion. So just going to hang out there for a little bit.
And we do see the spawning pool on the way for Atlas. Going back down here to the base of Fire. Now, we don't quite yet. Okay, there's the Forge and the Gateway, so he is going to go both of those prior to getting the expand. A little bit safer than we're used to seeing out of him. He actually did change it up a little bit last time and just go straight away for that 18 food expand.
And the drone is here and starts picking away at that probe. So Fire's going to have to do a little bit of dancing there to keep that drone off of him. Gonna be pretty successful at keeping that base from getting put down there, but I would like to see a pylon just for shits.
You know, I wouldn't disagree with that outside of the fact that you're basically wasting 25 minerals in essence, unless you let it finish, and there you go, you do get your pylon.
Oh, nice. So we did
but
see
I mean,
a pylon there.
With the cancel, he will in fact waste. It'll either be 100 or 25, depending upon how this goes.
I mean,
but then we see the Zerg player just go down here and take his third. So I mean, like, really, nothing has changed economically.
No, I really think that, obviously that is a pretty standard response, but regardless, the base, I think it was delayed quite a little bit. Not too much, but it was probably delayed enough. I don't know. I don't know. 100 minerals, was that worth that much delay? I don't know.
I would say no, especially since it delays your own expansion by that 100 minerals.
Yeah, that is a true point. But we will see here if, now he obviously knows that Atlas got that third base, so that knowledge could be useful for Fire to maybe do a sort of timing attack at that third base. But obviously, there goes that natural expansion. Fire, after losing that pylon, is now supply blocked.
That's the other risk that you run is, I mean, when I do that, I at least try and anticipate when that pylon is going to be killed. Now, obviously, you can get out a few extra units. It's kind of like the extractor trick for Zerg, only later on, obviously. But it's just, I don't personally think that's worth it to delay your expansion like that. With a probe, yes, but with a pylon, probably not.
You see a warp gate on the way for Fire.
And his expansion is about halfway done. Another pylon going down to, again, unsupply block him. And we get more drones coming out of Atlas. Atlas just going to probably continue to pump those drones here for a couple minutes. Another Zealot is coming out for Fire to completely wall this off, finally. And
the Queen at the third base here going to pop out, as well as this Queen here slowly making her way to the natural. So yeah, we're going to start seeing Atlas begin macroing up here and probably pull ahead of his opponent in worker production. Meanwhile, we haven't seen the Maynard probes here to the natural for Fire just yet.
Yeah, and I mean, he's just now getting to that point where his main is saturated, and he's actually just going to go ahead and rally down here, which is what a lot of players do to begin with. I mean, obviously, if you're on top of your pro production, you can go ahead and Maynard those down and then just refill your main. What I usually do is I'll take half and throw them down there. So yeah, you're only missing 8.
Something else that does for you is it slows down how quickly you actually kill the mineral fields in your main base. Maybe more efficiently start gathering those. But also that Twilight Council going down. So yeah, maybe we'll see something like I don't know, maybe some more Blink Stalkers like we saw in Game 2.
Yeah, I think that's probably what we're going to see. That worked for him in the past, and I mean, if it's something that obviously, if you know works, I mean, maybe his last game was the game where he decides that he wants to go ahead and cheese.
Yeah,
which is what we saw.
Yeah, and it really didn't work out for him. Sadly, it would have been really cool to see those oracles do a ton of damage, but as we saw, they pretty much completely flopped. So.
And we do have level 1 Zerg melee attacks, level 1 Protoss ground weapons, and charge on the way. So maybe Charge Lot Archon?
Yeah, I don't think that would be a bad idea, especially with the additional damage to biological units that Archons do, and also Charge is just all around really good.
Yeah.
So we will see what composition Fire decides to go for, but regardless, there are definitely going to be a lot of Zealots in play. Atlas actually supply blocked after losing that Overlord, so he's going to have to wait a little bit here before throwing things down. And there goes the Templar Archives, so I think you're right about the Archons.
You know, one thing I would like to see, and we haven't really seen it out of many players, is shield upgrades when they go Zealot Archon. Obviously, you want those Zealots to be alive and do as much damage as you can, but at the same time, shields on Archons. I mean,
their entire hit points are pretty much made out of shields, so that would not be a bad idea.
I mean, it's just something that you don't see very often, and a lot of players don't think about it because you get stuck in that mindset of you have to have your weapons, you have to have your armor, but nobody ever really thinks of shields. And oh, look at that, we do see it coming out now.
Nice, so that was a good call. One thing I would like to mention about that, though, is I wonder if, typically you try to keep the Archons in the back, so maybe you're relying on your Zealots to be doing most of the dirty work as far as taking damage, so you're not really concerned about your Archons dying. But if you just want to take that extra step to keep them alive, then yeah, definitely go for those shields. And also 6 gateways on the way, so I think this might be a 2-base timing push. What do you think?
I think you're pretty right on that one, actually. But if we go back to the previous comment, 50 shields on those Zealots now. That's kind of right. Now, Archons are supposed to be kind of a heavy assault unit too, so I mean they definitely do get their share of damage that's thrown at them. So I mean I would almost start to think at that point it's a toss up on whether you would go for armor or shields first.
Yeah.
Depending.
And also, ground weapons level 2 in production right now alongside the shields level 1. But yeah, so we do now have a total of, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3. So we have 7 gateways right now on 2 bases. This is a lot. I mean, look how much money he's got right now.
Well, but I mean, at the same time, that's about optimal. I would like to see some more... Oh, and does he get it? He does before it sees anything. I was going to say, I would like to see a few more Archons out. Now, that Changeling is going to go through the base and see everything. The Archons are going to go ahead and chase it down. But, I mean, he's got the money to make a bunch of Archons. There we go, and we get a nice warp in. But the cash, obviously, is going to be used for the Zealots. So, a nice focus into that for at least a couple of warp-ins would be nice.
And ground weapons level 2 is just about finished right now. And it looks like, he might be gearing up for a move out. So as soon as weapons level 2, he's going to go for that timing push. I think, is he going to expand behind this? I think that'd be a great idea. I mean, he's got so much money right now, or maybe he would save it for just a reinforcement warp in.
No, he needs to either expand or throw a pylon, because at this point he is supply block 99 out of 100. I mean, it's not going to do a lot, and we do have a couple of pylons going down. But
so I think he does want to end this here and now. Just due to the fact that we see these pylons here and a lot of money being banked up. Ooh, but it's scouted by those Zerglings.
And this is actually a really scary position to be in, because he's going to walk down that ramp, run right into all of those Zerglings. Oh, and Baneling's being morphed up here.
I think he just needs to pull those Zealots to the front, though, to engage those Hydralisks if Atlas is going to try to save the third, but I don't think he is. The third does fall there. Those Lings are getting a pretty good surround. Yeah, all those Archons is taking a lot of damage, but the Zealots are just completely surrounding these Hydralisks, and a Baneling bust. Wow, this trade did go pretty evenly.
Yeah, this was actually really well done by Fire. Now he is going to have to back up, otherwise this is going to get overextended yet again.
Let's see, the Zealot warp in. I guess he's just not going to go for the continued push, and he's just going to completely back off and lose those Archons there. That's definitely not what he wanted. I guess he was expecting it to do a little bit more damage there. But even though he did lose the third, Atlas did hold that off. Now, I wonder if he's going to make some more Banelings and try to go for the bust here. I don't think that'd be the greatest idea, but, you know, he made them earlier. But looks like he's going to go ahead and scout for that third there. Not going to find anything. That's probably going to be very good news to him, considering he just lost his own third. And there he goes, just drops it.
And another warp in, going to be very, very helpful. We do have sentries and some high
Banelings.
Uh-oh, so we are going to see your bust. Where is Faust? We need the Baneling boner.
Yeah, the Baneling boner, right? He also has speed on the way, so it looks like he will be pretty content to just continue going with Banelings. But with that many Zealots, do you think that's really cost-effective? I mean, they're definitely good against light units, but Zealots just have so much health. And I wonder if it's actually useful.
To go for Banelings? Sorry, I missed the original comment.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
to use them against Banelings.
To use Zealots against Banelings?
To use Banelings against Zealots.
Yes, that is very effective. Because, I mean, like, they have relatively 98 Banelings, 92 short of a boner. Just Banelings in general.
So we did see all those Zealots fall, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different really than using Banelings against Ling. Zealots are kind of in that same boat. They just kind of get obliterated. Now, if they don't get completely obliterated, they get taken down, all shields, and I think it's like 3/4 of the health leaves in one.
Well, Banelings do 39 damage versus Lights, so I think it would take a little bit more to actually take down a Zealot who has 150 health.
Well, but I'm saying, like, assuming that you have two of them coming in, obviously you're going to take it down quite a ways.
Yeah. That splash damage is definitely crucial.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I actually don't know, and it kind of goes into the technicalities, does the extra damage versus light count towards the shields, or is that only towards the unit below the shields? I'm not 100% sure.
I believe it's to the unit below the shields. Someone in chat can correct us.
And now we do have that Warp Prism just now finishing up for fire, so he's going to go for that counterattack. Probably at the third base there. As well as Storm on the way. So I wonder if we'll see the High Templar Warp in Storm on the mineral line. I think Zealots would probably be a little bit more useful, but we will see. Also Blink on the way. Prism actually stopping at the bottom of the map, not quite making that entire journey, and there he goes. Starts to move that once again. Atlas does have his fourth base. Fire just dropping his own fourth base.
So right now, actually, both players just kind of content to dance around each other, really.
Yeah. We also see the Warp Prism here at the third, and a lot of Hydralis here as well, so anything that we see come out of this Warp Prism is probably going to be dealt with unless these Hydras are pulled away for some reason. It looks like, yeah, Fire is going to decide probably to go for a move out here soon. Ooh, an Enduring Locust on the way.
Uh-oh.
See that Swarm Host transition?
Everybody's favorite Union.
Yeah. You see a 2-hour game.
Yeah, there you go. Now we have level 2 shields on the way as well as level 2 armor and blink incoming, so this is probably going to be pretty reminiscent of, I believe it was game number 2.
Greater Spire on the way, as well as a robotics bay for Fire. It looks like these Hydras have an idea of what this Warp Prism is up to now, not going to be falling for anything funky. But if this game goes much longer, it could be really interesting, especially when we see a lot of Swarm Hosts. Now, Atlas does have a lot of gas, so we will be able to produce a lot of Swarm Hosts. And at the same time, you know, if these Colossus start being produced, that could be pretty interesting.
And Faust makes a good point in the chat. Who really cares? Use Banelings against light things, and light things get exploded.
Well, that was obviously your forte there on Fun Day Monday. Except you pretty much blew up everything, like not even exclusively light things.
And I don't know if he means we're killing esports 3 hours at a time, but we might be.
I think Swarm hosts are killing esports 3 hours at a time.
Oh, is that? Sorry,
That's probably the comment.
I'm hoping so. I hope we're not killing esports. My dog is, but
I think we're actually keeping esports alive, man.
that's right.
I mean, StarCraft is not dying as long as we're here, right?
That's right.
And the 5th base for Atlas is now going down.
Faust, I use Banelings against everything if I have 200.
No, I think most people would. I think if you have 200 Banelings, there's probably a problem.
And actually, I think we're going to get the Swarm Host Corruptor Broodlord transition here.
And there go the Broodlords. I wonder what exactly Enduring Locust was researched for. Maybe that was a misclick, or maybe he just wants to go down all the tech paths. Though I really would like to see Swarm Hosts. I know Scipio, if he's still in the chat with us, he thinks they're the cheesiest damn unit in existence.
Is it possible to have tier 3 cheese? I just have to ask.
You told me that you could really cheese at any point in the game.
That's true.
So
no, that was Cadwa. We have to get that one straight. That was.
But
Cadwa.
you agreed with him, and you actually advocated that I can cheese at any point in the game. So, but I mean, all of these Broodlords are just about finishing, and we're going to start heading out here. I mean, we're just going to see the giant clash of maxed out armies right now. Now, Atlas also has a pretty big bank, so this might just be the 300-200 push that we see. Do you think Fire is actually ready for these Broodlords? I mean, the Baneling hit is just going to be insane here.
Yeah,
we got a bunch of Chainlings there.
Yeah, I am not actually sure if he's going to be ready. We're going to find out here very, very shortly.
He does have Blink Stalkers. He doesn't have a lot of them, but he does have quite a few here that we'll be able to possibly blink under the Broodlord and start doing some damage here. Ooh, we're going to see the engagement. Oh, the Baneling here.
Here we go.
Oh, crazy storm. A lot of storms there.
Oh my god, amazing storms. All of those Hydras almost
everything's just obliterated.
God.
Oh my gosh. That was so well done by Fire.
Under the Broodlords, and they're just going to get picked off slowly but surely. The Colossus does die, but at this point, it doesn't matter.
Do you see that transition? Do you see that transition?
Oh my god.
21 Swarm Hosts in production for our Zerg player, but will they be done in time to hold this off? I mean, these are all ground units right now, so if these are done and burrowed in time, this could be absolutely insane engagement.
Yes, I think at least at this point, Fire is going to go up and try and take out this third. This third is just going to get sacked.
But I don't know. Is it going to be done in time? Yeah, this third is probably going to fall here.
And there they are. They all pop.
And they're burrowing now. Going to send a bunch of Locusts. They've already got the Enduring Locust upgrade, but this third is going to fall. Meanwhile, Fire is putting down that 5th base. I like it. But this is a lot of Locusts right now, and they have 2 upgrades on their attacks. And it's just killing units for free right now.
All of those free units.
and they're getting stuck in between the Locusts. And Fire does pull out. I think that's the best decision for him. Doesn't want to lose too much to that. Meanwhile, Atlas did drop that base on the bottom right, which Fire does see. And he might be able to just go ahead and take that out. But we're going to see the siege here of the Swarm Hosts.
Is that like Flight of the Bumblebee, Siege of the Swarm Host?
Something like that, though probably going to sting a lot more.
Probably.
I'd like to see the Mass Queen behind this.
That would be insane.
We really don't have enough money for that right now.
Maybe you could go Broodlords behind this. That would be even more fun.
All the free units, right?
All the free units.
And then Fire actually did take out that base in the bottom right there. Not good for Atlas. He really needs to get a base, whether it's up on the top left here, or maybe even grab his third again, though it is low on money. And just see the march of the Swarm Hosts.
Oh, there they go.
But we don't see any detection here either.
Oh no!
Unburrowing everything and pulling it back.
But they're getting caught in their own locust.
And one Broodlord joins the battle. Oh no. The one thing is, I mean, we don't actually see any observer right now. So, he might be able to kill the Locust, but he's not going to be able to kill the Swarm Hosts themselves. Or actually, they are taking damage. probably, I think that's actually because of the splash of the Archons.
Yeah, this army, though, just going to get completely surrounded by those locusts and not really going to care.
And they just...
Oh.
Are they just going to go for the natural? Looks like they are. They're just going to completely bypass these locusts. You know, hey, if you're going to sit around there, there's nothing for you at home.
Yeah, and at this point, Fire is sitting on 3-3-3, so this army is pretty much at death ball status. Now, if we go ahead and look at those locusts, they are at 2-1, and that's not good. That is no bueno.
I think this was definitely well played by Fire. The best call there was just to completely run past the Swarm Host. Shit,
yeah.
To the fucking throat.
I think he realized that if he stays there and tries to fight that at all, he's going to just lose everything. Because free units against units that cost something, definitely not a good trade.
Yeah. And the third, or actually the fourth here for Atlas is going to fall. And I think this is GG. Not really a whole lot that Atlas can do, even though he's got the Locusts here at home. Yeah. So I think we're going to go on to Game 5 here. We're just waiting on the GG from Atlas.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he does manage to clean this up, I mean, what's he going to produce off of?
Nothing at all. I mean, he's got a lot of Locusts, but really that's not going to help him much. And you know, he's gonna lose by losing buildings if he doesn't actually quit out here soon. Actually, okay.
But we have a hatchery in the middle of the map.
Oh, the Manor Hatch. Not cool, Atlas. He just definitely does not want to win. You know, he's got this huge army of Swarm Hosts. He does not want to quit. And I can't really blame him, I suppose. Especially when you've got such a big army here. And the hatch does get spotted. But there's another hatch there on the top left. Oh, man. The fire is just all over the map right now.
With all of those manor hatches.
And then the Swarm Host chasing down the Protoss army.
I know, this
looks so ridiculous. Oh, burrow! Burrow! There we go.
Uh-oh.
Looks like this hatch does get spotted by fire.
And actually, there's still an extractor up here, so he's got to come up here and kill that. But, oh, it looks like he's actually going to go do that first. And the GG finally does come out from Atlas.
Yep. So we're going to go on to Game 5. This is now a best of one. Both players very well done in these past 4 games here. Very equally matched, I suppose I should say.
So here we go. Best of one. What do you expect?
You know what? I'm going to say that Fire comes out on top.
You know what? After seeing that, I would actually have to tend to agree with you. Unless he goes into another strange Oracle play, I would have to agree.
I don't think he's going to try to throw a game like he did. You know, as you were saying, that might just be the game that you could try something risky just because, you know, it might work. And you're a game ahead, so why not? But I think he's really going to try his hardest. And considering, you know, that last game that we just watched, I think he's going to be able to pull it away.
Yeah, that's probably very true. I'm wondering what build wise do you do? Do you do some sort of all in to try and end it? Do you do a very safe build? You know, what's kind of the thought process that goes into that? That's where I'm at.
You know, he did do a pretty successful blink all in one of those games, but you know, he tried for the Stargate sort of play. That was kind of an all in with those three Stargates and the Oracles. It didn't quite work out. So I almost think that he is just going to try to play this one safe. But who knows? Maybe he could go for, you know, some sort of quick all in and try to end it as fast as possible. But anyway, are we all loaded up, ready to go?
Zero, are you ready?
Oh, yep, I'm in.
All right.
So are you going to give us that countdown?
Yeah.
God, he's just impatient tonight.
I know.
Is there a problem?
No, there's no problem.
No.
Not at all.
Tythor in the chat. Tythor joining us today. What's up, Tythor?
Hey, Tythor.
Cool. All right, so counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, liftoff.
All right, spawning up here on the top left-hand side of our final map of this matchup, we do have Atlas.
And on the bottom right, our orange Protoss player Fire, taking away that last game. And a pretty heavy macro style there, getting up to death ball status and just crushing his opponent.
Yeah, definitely. And I forgot to mention the name of the map. If you can't read it on GameHeart, it is Belshir Vestige. Ladder Edition. I forgot that.
Of course, Ladder Edition.
That's
I
right.
don't know. Does that just mean that they've got stupid destructible plates, the bricks?
You know what? I don't actually know what that means anymore. I know back in the old days it meant something special was going on with the map
Yeah.
compared to what was used on the ladder. Now
The
anymore,
MLG version had the bricks there, or, the supply depot.
yeah. So I'm not actually sure what that designation means anymore. So up here in Atlas's base, now we talked about what Fire might do. What about Atlas in this case? Like, what do you do if you're Atlas?
You know, I think we've seen Atlas do pretty much the same thing for the past 4 games, going for that quick expansion and then also following up with a fast third. Now, he was able to take away 2 games doing that, and I almost feel like that's what he's comfortable with, and that he might just go ahead and do that same exact thing and just kind of try to switch it up later on in the game. Maybe do a little bit more scouting to see exactly what's going on with his opponent, and switch up the composition accordingly. But then again, we also have Fire, who has seen that Atlas has done the same thing for the past 4 games and might try to even punish him for going for a quick third. But
Now we do see
how this actually plays out.
we do see a distinct change from Fire in this game. One gateway,
The lack of the fast expand.
yeah, any sort of fast expand probably not going to happen. Now he is banking quite a bit of money, so nope. There's the Cyber Core and some more probes.
You know-
Excuse me, on the way.
Maybe you actually are right. Maybe he's going to try to, put the nail in the coffin here really quickly. That spawning pool is about halfway done for Atlas. I don't see a drone out just yet going for that third base. So maybe he'll decide to actually 2-base for a little while.
Yeah, who really knows? And maybe Fire just decides, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go for a 4-gate. Now we see no second geysers, so I would almost say that's probably what he's got in mind, is some sort of 4-gate.
There goes the warp gate research being chrono boosted, so you might just be right. And there actually goes that second gas, so maybe like a 3-gate robo sort of thing.
Possibly. Now the chrono boost into the warp gate indicates, at least to me, that he wants to be aggressive at like some early point. And maybe this is just a 1-gate expand. I'm not 100% sure now that he sends the probe down there. Or maybe the probe is just sent out for scouting purposes, finally.
It might be going out for a proxy pylon. He's got it rallied somewhere. Yeah, he's bouncing it around over here to the right side of the map. So I wonder if he's actually going to worry about scouting out and maybe just go for that proxy pylon. Also, 2 extractors on the way for Atlas, just going to start harvesting up that gas.
Oh, and there's the
Meanwhile-
proxy pylon.
And there go 2 more gateways. Are we going to see the third? Or is it going to be a robo?
He needs the money. Is he going to throw it down? He's got the money, and there it is.
And
So
it's
the
actually the
4th
4th gate, so... Yep, this is going to be a 4-gate, and actually... does Atlas actually see this? He drops down 3 spine crawlers. Did he scout that? I'm not actually sure.
And that those 3 spines might just be a response of, well, I see you don't have an expansion, and I've seen you have an expansion all series long.
That is very true, and also something that we see changed from Atlas is the Roach Warren, as opposed to hanging with those Lings until later on when he techs down the Hydralisk.
Oh, and
So you're
actually,
probably right there. Oh, he
actually, we
goes
see
for
we see the expansion coming down. The gateways are just about done. Warp gate is done now, so he's actually set himself up.
he canceled it. That was absolutely fantastic. Those mind games, man. That was
Mind games.
beautiful.
Mind games.
That was really awesome from Fire. Though we still do have those spine crawlers at the natural. He's going to actually be dropping down a spore crawler as well. You know, if you check the vision of Atlas, actually he doesn't even. He might have actually caught that cancel. As there is nothing warping in there in his vision. Also, yeah, going to see if you can't find anything out with this Overlord there in the main base. But also, we do see this push out from Fire.
Oh my God, he actually can't make anything at the moment.
Oh, because you lost that Overlord.
Block.
But we do have 3 spine crawlers here. We don't have enough energy for a transfuse, but there's still three spine crawlers is quite a bit, especially when you've mainly got these stalkers here that will take a bit of extra damage.
Now we have 7 roaches in production. We have a bunch of stalkers here at the front. We're going to need some pro transfuses. One does not go down. The drones are getting pulled. And
there's not enough energy for transfuses right now. The zealots are going to die, so we're just going to be dealing with stalkers right now. And with the 7 roaches get out on time, the last spine crawler does fall.
No, the spine crawler's down. The stalkers are going to push in, taking out these roaches. Another warp into zealots coming in the back. The queen getting taken down. 4 roaches left on the field. These stalkers slowly but surely going to whittle away at them. 6 more roaches in production.
I do think that this is actually Fire's game at this point. You know, unless that these roaches can hold this off. But meanwhile, we do have the reinforcement warp-ins from Fire himself. The stalkers do a little bit more DPS than roaches, so I have a feeling that this is just going to go in Fire's favor.
Yeah, and I mean, the reinforcements just keep on coming. The only thing limiting right now is the warp gate time.
The natural does fall.
That hatchery goes down. The roach is going to come down and stream down the map. But again, more reinforcements coming in from Fire. Fire going to continue to push forward.
That is definitely going to cut into Atlas's production. Obviously, losing that hatchery is not what he wants. I feel like that is just going to be the end of this game. He was not able to hold on to that natural. Now he's producing off with 1 base, and Fire is just going all out.
Oh my God. These stalkers just working away. A little bit of micro there. Micro and the wounded one's back. He is going to lose 1, but that is completely fine. Now we do have 5 more roaches in production. They're not going to be here quite in time to try and fight this off, and the GG does come out of Atlas.
GG. Fire taking away Game 5 in a swift motion. We've not seen a game like that all series.
No, that was pretty concise.